My name is Mr. Wild. I'm at SUNO, Southern University at New Orleans. We're in a computer class. I'm with Q Quinonso, and we're going to go over hardware and motherboards and the different parts of the computer. And he's going to explain the name of each part and what it does.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking into the physical components of the computer, more especially looking inside the system units. Here we have the motherboards, we have the power supply units, we have the cables, we have the hard drives, and we have the PCI slots. So all these things, we are going to look into them and see exactly how they perform their functions, and probably other things that are involved. So first I will talk about the motherboards. If you look inside, you will see a kind of a greenish plate inside this system unit, and this greenish plate, you discover that most of the other components are many of them are placed on top of it. This is the motherboard of this system unit, and this motherboard, it has a kind of an architecture. It has a way it has been arranged. You discover that here we have a kind of certain arrangement. Here we have the PCI slots where we put in the PCI cables and other expanded cables like the VGA and all that. Then we have around here, we have the RAM, that is the random access memory, and then this RAM is somehow is gently installed by just fixing it. First of all, you need to make sure that the notch is is actually open before you have to gently fix it in, but somehow the spacing wouldn't allow me here, so I'll just show you. You just need to fix it in gently.
Okay, it snaps in. It snaps in the motherboard.
It snaps in. Make sure it snaps inside the motherboard,
okay. And
then make sure you clip back the notch, okay, so that it is tightly firm. Then, if you look here, you will see a kind of what do they call it? A heat sink, a kind of a heat sink that.
What is the purpose of the heat sink?
The purpose of the heat sink is actually to remove unnecessary heat that is seen inside the nut bridge. Actually there is a nut bridge that connects the RAM to the CPU of the system unit, and this nut bridge, we wouldn't want it to overheat. That's why we always put a heat sink on top. So here you can't really see the nut bridge, but it is right under this heat sink, and that's it. Here we have the power supply, and this power supply also has a fan inside it. The idea is to continuously suck out any form of heat as well that is being generated by the power supply, and that's just that.
What is the purpose of the power supply besides just powering?
Also the power supply, the purpose is also to give power to several components of this CPU. If you look here in the cable, you see a lot of white connectors of the cable, and these white connectors are being connected at several components. Like this motherboard has also a place where you have to connect the power supply to be able to apply power to it. Then also several components like the hard drive and other things that are being connected also have ports where you have to plug in the power supply, this power supply in it, so that it can be able to generate a form of electricity that will allow it to work.
Also, it converts AC to DC
Yeah, and also it covers it
from the
AC
wall.
to DC.
Now, could you explain the last thing we want to talk about? This
Yeah.
cable right here.
Yeah, if you look at this cable is actually is a data cable, and it is used to connect the hard disk drive to the motherboard. The idea is that it helps to transfer every form of data, that we input in the system, and through here it is being saved in the hard disk drive, and that's just it. And if you look at this motherboard, when you want to connect it, you need to make sure that, when you look at the hard disk drive, there's actually a socket for it, and these sockets, we have the socket for the data cable and also the power cable. You need to ensure that these two are well put in place so that it doesn't spoil or do any other thing. So if you want to install it, like this data cable actually is a PATA cable. That's a parallel ATA cable. There are also like the SATA cable and the SCSI hard drive, the one for the SCSI hard drive, but the one we have here is for the parallel ATA. And if you want to install it, you need to make sure that if you look, you will see a kind of a red lining at the edge of the PATA cable, and this red line actually indicates the pin where the pin 1 starts. So if we want to connect it, you just need to put it in place not at the socket where it is meant to be, and ensure that this red lining is also corresponds to the red lining of the power cable, so that everything will flow well. If you make the mistake and you are not able to do that the way it's supposed to be, your hard drive may not be able to run, and several informations will not be saved.
Okay.
And that is just
Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes our presentation for hardware, various components of the computer inside. We talked about the case, which is out here. We talked about the motherboard. We talked about the hard drive, the data cable, and the power supply, and the memory, the RAM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.